Hey, sports fans, PBnZ Sports Chaos. And speaking of chaos, we are at the chaotic period of college football. Last week, more chaos erupted last week. You had Georgia down 17 nothing, went to 8 overtimes against Georgia Tech to win that game. Unbelievable there. By the way, 9 is the record, if you're wondering. So 8 overtimes. Michigan, a 3 touchdown underdog. Remember, we didn't want to pick that game, right? We said it was only going to be close. A 3 touchdown underdog. They beat Ohio State. A huge brawl after the game because they planted their flag. Ohio State wasn't happy. Hey, guess what, Ohio State? Just win the friggin' game. You don't have to worry about it, right?
Exactly.
The hometown Hurricanes, they had a 21-point lead to Syracuse. Syracuse, who BC just beat the week before. They knocked them out, and they knocked them out of the ACC, and probably because they fell to number 12, right, in the playoff rankings, they probably knock them out of the playoffs.
I would agree with that. I think a two-loss ACC team doesn't deserve to get in.
No, I mean probably not. And if Clemson beats SMU in the conference championship, we're going to talk about that game momentarily. But if Clemson wins, who's outside right now, I think they're 16th, if I'm not mistaken, they could jump in as well. So there's no way Miami keeps that ranking. So they're out, in my opinion. And Alabama,
Yep.
who's 11th, if Clemson wins, I think SMU probably stays in. If Clemson wins, Bama could be on shaky ground as well. And God forbid there's another upset in one of those playoff games. Because right now, Penn State is, well, I guess Penn State's in, even at a loss. But you got Ohio State and Iowa State and Arizona State. We're going to pick that game. They're both outside right now. One of them gets in automatically. So they move in. That's where Miami moves out. But Bama could move out as well if Clemson beats SMU.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's pick them then. Let's get right into it. Let's start with that Big Ten game. Penn State is in because Ohio State lost to Michigan. They play Oregon. Oregon's been number one the whole season. They're a 3.5 point favorite. I'm not high on Penn State at all. I think 3.5 too little. I don't know what Vegas is thinking. I'm going Oregon all day long. What do you think?
Yeah, I am too. And to your point, I think they're the better team, but it almost makes you feel like this would be a pick 'em if it was at a neutral site because it's a 3 point. You kind of get that 3 points for being the home team, right? So,
I believe the Penn. Actually, I think that is on neutral side. I think it's in Indianapolis.
oh, it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Oh, it
yeah.
is. All
They
right.
always play.
So,
They play the Big Ten in Indianapolis most times.
oh, okay. All right. Good. That makes me feel better. But I'm still going with Oregon in this one, and I'm definitely gonna just lay the 3.5.
Yeah, me too. What G Money got?
Um, I have it on my phone, so I have to sorry, I need to just access it here. He's got Oregon as well.
Okay. All right.
All
Georgia.
the several.
Georgia, number 5, goes to number 2, Texas, or plays number 2, Texas. I believe that's also at a neutral site. I forget where. Maybe AT&T now I think about it. 2.5 point spread for Texas. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's still Texas playing in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Texas impressed me, and you know what? Georgia last
Actually,
week.
you know what? Let me take that back. This is not the Big 12. This is the SEC championship. This is going to be in, I believe, someplace in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be in an
Oh,
SEC field.
it might be at Mercedes
Could
Dome,
be.
maybe.
Could be, yeah. I didn't
Um,
look it up.
yeah, I think Georgia last week, man, I don't know if that's going to be a wake-up call for them and they're going to come back and win this game, or if it was like the beginning of the end for them. Because if they lose this game, they could be out of the playoffs, right?
I mean,
Georgia,
I guess
Texas,
depending on how some other games
yeah,
go, yes.
yeah. I mean, Texas will still get in probably if they lose, but I think if Georgia loses, could be out. It's a more important game for Georgia. But I just wasn't impressed with how they handled themselves last week against Georgia Tech. I'm going Texas on this one. I'm laying the 2.5.
And by the way, Texas had to go to Texas A&M. A tough crowd. Game day was there,
Shut
and
them
they
out,
handled them.
basically.
Yes,
Yeah,
they handled them, right? So I'm with you.
yeah.
I'm going Texas on that one. What's G Money got?
G Money has Oregon. I mean, has
Nope.
Georgia.
Yes, Georgia. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Clemson SMU for the ACC. This is someplace in Charlotte. SMU has to travel. Clemson's right down the street from that game. 2.5 point favorite is SMU in this game. I hate to be picking all the favorites here, but
Yeah.
Clemson just lost last week to South Carolina. It didn't matter because that was an out of conference game. That's why they get in no matter what with the Miami loss.
Yeah.
I got Texas SMU their first year in the conference. By the way, Texas first year in the conference. We could pick them to win. Oregon, first year in the Big Ten, we picked them to win. I'm going SMU, another first year in the conference. I'm going to go SMU to win that conference.
You know what? I'm going SMU as well. G Money has Clemson. I'll tell you why, though. I'm just going to be honest. I haven't seen SMU play this year. Haven't watched them play a football game. So, but what I'm going off of is I have seen Clemson play several football games, and I haven't been impressed. So I'm going by my what I haven't seen out of Clemson more so than what I have seen out of SMU. I'm going SMU though.
Can I tell you one thing though about SMU? So they played BC down in SMU. BC lost that game, was up in that game. If the kid Grayson James, who's playing quarterback now, had been put in earlier in the lineup, I actually believe BC would have won that game because they were running on SMU that day. Clemson doesn't seem to have a really great running game at the moment. I know Clay Cudnett, the quarterback, has shown some ability to move the ball with his feet. I think SMU's vulnerable, but to your point, I don't think Clemson's done enough to prove me wrong, or prove us wrong, right? So
Yep.
I'm going SMU as well.
All right.
All right, G Money.
G Money has Clemson.
I thought he did. All right, UNLV goes to Boise State. Boise State's a 4-point favorite. Here's another game, much like the Oregon game. I'm surprised by this spread. Has anybody seen Ashton Genty run the freaking ball this year?
I know.
UNLV, by the way, is on their second string quarterback because we remember the beginning, somewhere early in the year, their starter from Holy Cross didn't get his $100,000 NIL money, so he left the school. 100,000, you left over 100,000. Give me a break, buddy. So they're playing their backup quarterback for the rest of the season. I don't see this any way UNLV covers this game. Boise covers, wins the game.
Yep. I get the same thing as does G Money for all the same reasons. And Janty is a beast. He's going to be a top 10 pick at running back next year, I think, in the draft potentially.
Running backs are back. I'd love to see him win the Heisman. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately, but I'd love to see him win it. All right, last game. Iowa State goes and plays Arizona State in the Big 12. Here we go. Here's another one. Arizona State's favored by 2, a newcomer to the Big 12. I just can't do it this time. I'm not picking another newcomer to win the title. Iowa State always seems to surprise in the Big 12. They're never the best team, but they always play sneaky good. I think Iowa State defends the title of being the incumbent.
All right. That's the only one you and I are different on then this week because I'm taking Arizona State on this, and I'm going off of what I saw last week out of Arizona State, and they look really good.
Very good pick. You know what? I totally agree that they probably will win the game, but I got to pick Iowa State. I got to stay with an incumbent.
Okay, and G Money also has Arizona State with me on that.
Okay. All right. Let's flip over to the NFL. PB. That shootout game, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati last week was epic, right?
Yeah, it was for sure.
Much like the game we had last night on Thursday Night Football with Green Bay and Detroit, another shootout.
Yep.
Just unbelievable.
And Russell Wilson, man, he ended up with the second or third most passing yards for a quarterback this entire season in that game.
Yes. And what about Jameis Winston last week? What a game he had against the Broncos on Monday night. 6 touchdowns, 4 to his team, 2 to the other team. Typical famous Jameis, right? He did throw for almost 500 yards. Unfreaking believable. San Fran lost to Buffalo. I think we all thought that was going to happen, right? But they've now lost to 2 starting first and second running back, right? McCaffrey's out, and the other kid, Mason, is out.
Yep.
San Fran, I think, is cooked. What do you think?
Yeah, they're done. They're absolutely cooked. And that the only thing they got going for them is that division is they're beating up on each other. And, it's funny because I think I said this on a previous show too. We thought the NFC South was going to be that team that was 9-8, which is still going to happen.
Well, it's still probably going to happen. Don't forget about it. It's probably going to happen.
But who would have thought that the NFC West would be in that same kind of boat where all these teams are kind of floating around 500?
Yeah, and we're gonna pick a couple of those games in a minute. So, but by the way, Buffalo won in the snow against it. We just talked about, but Philadelphia at Baltimore, which we all said last week, or you and I don't know about G Money. We didn't think that was going to be a big home field advantage. It wasn't. Philadelphia won the game, right? Is Philadelphia right now is better than Detroit or pretty close to Detroit?
No,
Detroit
I think
kind of deserved to lose last night.
Yeah, I still think Detroit's the team to beat.
Okay.
I did like Green Bay last night. I had some money on Green Bay, which I got three. I should have taken the 3.5, but I actually got the three. So I pushed on it. But I did like Green Bay because one of the reasons was because Detroit already won in Green Bay. So usually teams that are really good like that in the same division, they tend to split. So I just thought Green Bay would come out and win last night. Um,
Is the
but I
NFC,
think
so I haven't said that. Is the NFC clearly a three-team race?
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna say
Detroit, Philadelphia, and Green Bay, right?
that's it. And I would say Green Bay is probably better than Philly as well at this point in time.
Wow. Okay.
I would put Detroit, Green Bay, Philly. But man, if you have to play any one of those three teams on the road, that home team instantly has an advantage. So um
Yeah.
we'll see
Yeah.
where the seedings lay. I mean, Detroit looks like they're gonna end up with home field throughout, but we'll see.
All right, let's pick some games. You ready?
Yep.
Atlanta is going to Minnesota for the Kirk Cousins homecoming game. What do you
Yep.
think?
Yeah, I mean, I keep picking against Atlanta for a reason. I liked them at the beginning of the year. They're still hovering there around 500, but they just haven't shown me enough. And Kirk Cousins hasn't shown me enough. And as a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Penix finds his way into a game here pretty soon. Um, so I gotta take Minnesota. I think they're the better team. They're 10-2. I don't think they are at the same level as Green Bay, Detroit, and Philly
Philadelphia.
though.
Yep.
But they're
Totally agree.
definitely, I mean, that division, you could have three teams that are all going to be, 10, 11, 12 win teams. It's crazy.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
but yeah, I like Minnesota in this one.
I got Minnesota as well. What's your money got?
G-Money has Minnesota too.
All right. The next five games, I can admit right now, when I picked these for us to pick, I thought four of them were going to be very easy. And the more and more I think about it, I'm not so sure anymore. Next game is up Jets Dolphins. On paper, this should be Dolphins all day long. But I can't believe the Jets are as bad as they play. I can't believe Aaron Rodgers looks like, Sam Donald used to look like at one point in time, which he does. And so I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, the Jets are a hot mess. Miami's, you know, Miami's Miami. I mean, if they're not going to probably make the playoffs, they got to kind of reset and focus on next year. But it's a division game. It's in Miami. I'm going to it, by the way.
Oh, good.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, I think this is Miami's game. I'm taking the Dolphins all the way on this one.
What's G Money got?
He has Miami as well.
Okay, I'm flipping. Heads is Dolphins, tails is Jets. Oh, crap. All right. It's tails. I'm going Jets.
All
All right,
right.
Seattle Cards. Seattle Cards. This could be another game, but they just played, what, 2 weeks ago, was it right?
Yeah.
And it was at Seattle. You said the 12th man would help them win. It did. This time, there's no 12th man. I'm going to tell you right now, I got the Cards.
Yeah, me too. And like I said, teams that are this close in a division usually they end up splitting, and it's usually the home and home situation. This is a perfect setup for Arizona to win this game. I got Arizona as well.
By the way, that puts Arizona back in first if they win this game.
It does.
Okay. All right, Bills Rams. Bills just came off that huge win at home against San Fran in the snowstorm. Rams have been sneaky good this year. I mean, not really good, but just sneaky. They can hang around with you. What do you think?
Yeah, and it is at home, and they
Buffalo's
can.
going to travel.
Buffalo's going to travel. You get all that stuff factoring in there, but Buffalo, man, I think right now they're to me showing to be the best team in the AFC.
Agreed.
Um, you're talking, Buffalo, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, maybe Baltimore is kind of that same conversation like we just talked about the three or
Yeah.
four teams over in the NFC. Um, yeah, I still think Buffalo goes on the road and beats this team. So I'm taking Buffalo.
All right, I'm going Buffalo as well. What's G
Yeah,
Money got?
G Money's got the Rams.
Ooh. All right. This is another game. Here, I might have to flip the coin again. Chargers. I know they lost the week before. They play KC this week. They bounced back last week to win. Um, Chargers are one of those teams that we talked about this 2 weeks ago. They are surprisingly good, better than we expected, and better than they're going to be good next year. I think. I'm surprised they were this talented and good this year. KC is ripe to be beat, very ripe to be beat at this point in time. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, they are. They are absolutely ripe to be beat. And I actually didn't want to take the Chiefs in this game. I didn't want to. I said this is the time when the Chargers are going to actually beat the Chiefs, and I was like, that's in Kansas City. Then I texted my friend that I'm going to pick up at the airport right after the show from Kansas City, and I'm like, what do you think of Kansas City this week? Are you nervous? He's like, I'm nervous for every game, but he goes, but I'm confident, and I'm like, okay, that's all I need to hear. He's
Do
a
we know
Kansas
the
City
what?
guy.
Any idea on the weather out there? I didn't check. Do we know what the weather's like? I mean, that's going to be a factor because LA
It's
plays
been
indoors.
Yeah, it's been cold, but
Okay,
LA doesn't play in. SoFi's not indoors.
it's got a roof.
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it's a retractable roof. I feel
yeah. It
like it's
is.
always open. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's yeah,
It's retractable. Okay.
yeah.
Um, so I'm just going off of that. Because I was really on the fence about this game. So I said, screw it. I'm going to take Kansas City. So I'm taking KC.
All right, hang on. Heads for KC. Oh no, wait, is this a double? No, it's tails. All right, I'm going LA. I'm going Chargers, I guess. All right.
All right, this is my chance to be able to catch you maybe in the because
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
up many games, but here we go.
I know.
You
And by
got
the way, fans, I'm up like 6 games on these guys.
you
6-0
are.
last weekend.
But the last 2 years, PB has taken the crown as far as picks goes, but this year Z's way up. So these two coin flips could come back and haunt you.
It could be.
Yeah.
All right, Cincy against Dallas. I mean, this game right now, the way Dallas' season's turned, should be easily Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's been just as bad. These are the two most underwhelming teams this year. Both of them were expected to be playoff teams. Neither one of them may make the will make the playoffs. Dallas is certainly out of it. Cincinnati's probably out of it as well. Cincinnati cannot play defense. Joe Burrow throws for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, and they still end up losing the game. What do you think?
And that could happen again. I mean, this is going to
Yes.
be the only thing is that if Dak Prescott was playing, I probably would take Dallas in this game because I think he can go toe to toe. I just don't know if, despite Cincinnati's poor defense, if Cooper Rush can go toe to toe with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T Higgins and those guys. I just I gotta take Cincinnati.
I will say this one thing. Um, Cincinnati's offensive line is somewhat questionable. And right now, Micah Parsons is on a streak for Defensive Player of the Year. He can wreak complete havoc and turn this game around, and Joe Burrow doesn't do anything in this game. I almost want to make it a coin flip, but to your point, I don't know. I think Joe does just enough, and Burrow doesn't. Obviously, Cooper Cuff does nothing. So Cooper Rush, not Cooper Cuff. Cooper Rush doesn't do enough. So I get Cincinnati as well.
G Money actually has Dallas, believe it or not, in that one.
I mean, I'm almost tempted to flip the coin again, but I'm not going to.
Well, we know G Money's way down in the NFL picks this year, so
He's
that's a
gonna
good
wing
thing.
it. Yeah, he's gonna wing it. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. All right, that's our picks, fans. Let's see how it turns out this weekend. College football, great playoffs, and we got some good NFL games. Talk to you soon, man.
Yes.